The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dense foliage of the forest. A group of friends, Alex, Sarah, Mike, and Emily, trudged along the narrow trail, their backpacks heavy with camping gear. "We should have reached the clearing by now," Alex muttered, glancing nervously at the encroaching darkness. Sarah shrugged. "Maybe we took a wrong turn somewhere." As they continued, the trees seemed to close in around them, their branches twisting and reaching like skeletal fingers. A chill wind whispered through the leaves, sending shivers down their spines. "Did you hear that?" Emily whispered, her voice barely audible above the rustling of the leaves. Mike shook his head. "Just your imagination, Em. Let's keep moving." But as they pressed on, the whispers grew louder, echoing through the woods like a chorus of lost souls. Sarah's heart raced as she scanned the shadows for any sign of movement. "We need to find a place to set up camp," Alex said, his voice trembling. "I don't like the feel of this place." They stumbled upon a small clearing bathed in moonlight and quickly set up their tents, hoping to find some respite from the eerie atmosphere of the forest. As they huddled around the flickering campfire, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Every rustle of the leaves and snap of a twig sent her pulse racing. "I think we should leave," Emily said, her voice trembling. "There's something wrong with this place." But before they could discuss their options further, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night air, followed by the sound of branches snapping and underbrush rustling. Without hesitation, they scrambled to their feet and fled into the darkness, their hearts pounding in their chests. They ran until their legs gave out beneath them, collapsing in a tangled heap on the forest floor. When they finally dared to look back, they saw nothing but the impenetrable blackness of the woods. "We have to stick together," Alex said, his voice barely a whisper. "Whatever's out there, it's not going to go easy on us." They huddled together for warmth, their eyes darting nervously at every shadow and sound. But as the hours passed, exhaustion overcame their fear, and one by one, they drifted off to sleep. Sarah awoke to the sound of whispering voices, faint and indistinct. She sat up, her heart pounding in her chest, and scanned the darkness for any sign of her friends. But they were gone. In a panic, she stumbled to her feet and called out their names, but there was no response. Desperate and alone, she set off into the forest, determined to find them no matter the cost. As she plunged deeper into the darkness, the whispers grew louder, echoing through the trees like a siren's call. She followed the sound, her mind consumed by a single thought: survive. But as the first light of dawn broke through the canopy, she realized the horrifying truth. She was not alone in the woods. And whatever lurked in the shadows had no intention of letting her leave alive. Sarah's screams echoed through the forest as the whispers closed in around her, swallowing her whole in a cacophony of terror and despair. And in the depths of the whispering woods, her friend's fate remained a mystery, lost to the darkness forevermore. The old mansion stood imposingly against the backdrop of the moonlit sky, its weathered facade bearing the scars of time. Amelia, a young woman in her mid-20s, stood on the front steps, her heart racing with anticipation. She had inherited the mansion from her late grandmother, along with its many mysteries and secrets. With a trembling hand, Amelia inserted the heavy iron key into the lock and pushed open the door, revealing a grand foyer adorned with antique furniture and faded tapestries. Dust motes danced in the moonlight that streamed through the stained glass windows, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Amelia's gaze fell upon a massive ornate mirror standing in the corner of the room, its gilt frame tarnished with age. Intrigued, she approached the mirror and ran her fingers along its cold surface, marveling at its beauty. As she gazed into the mirror, she caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of her eye. Startled, she turned to find nothing but her own reflection staring back at her. Dismissing it as a trick of the light, she continued exploring the mansion, her footsteps echoing through the empty halls. That night, as she lay in bed, Amelia couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She tossed and turned, her mind plagued by strange dreams and restless visions. In the darkness, the mirror loomed like a silent sentinel, its glass surface shimmering with an otherworldly glow. The next morning, Amelia awoke to find the mansion bathed in an ethereal light, the air heavy with the scent of roses and decay. Determined to uncover the truth behind the mirror's strange allure, she set out to explore its hidden depths. As she delved deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine corridors, she stumbled upon a dusty attic filled with forgotten treasures and mementos of a bygone era. And there, tucked away in a corner, she found a tattered journal belonging to her grandmother. With trembling hands, she flipped through the pages, her eyes widening in horror as she read tales of madness and obsession. According to her grandmother's writings, the mirror was more than just a piece of furniture, it was a portal to another realm, where the souls of the damned lingered for all eternity. Determined to test the mirror's power for herself, Amelia returned to the foyer and gazed into its depths, her heart pounding in her chest. To her astonishment, the mirror rippled like liquid, revealing a dark and twisted reflection of the world beyond. With a sense of trepidation, she reached out and touched the mirror's surface, her fingers tingling with a strange energy. And then, in a flash of blinding light, she was pulled into the mirror's depths, disappearing from the mortal realm forever. As the last echoes of her screams faded into the night, the mansion stood silent and still, its secrets buried beneath layers of dust and despair. And in the mirror's reflection, Amelia's soul joined the countless others trapped in its unyielding embrace, lost to the world of the living for all eternity. The arrival of the carnival was the talk of the town. For weeks, colorful flyers adorned with whimsical illustrations had been plastered on every street corner, promising thrills and excitement beyond imagination. But as the big day finally arrived, a sense of unease settled over the sleepy town. As dusk descended, the first flickers of light illuminated the night sky, drawing curious onlookers to the outskirts of town where the carnival had set up its tents and attractions. The air was alive with the sound of laughter and music, but beneath the surface, there was something sinister lurking. Among the crowd was a group of friends, Tom, Lucy, Jake, and Rebecca, drawn to the carnival by a sense of morbid curiosity. They weaved their way through the throngs of people, their eyes wide with anticipation as they took in the sights and sounds of the carnival. But as they ventured deeper into the heart of the carnival, they began to notice something off about the carnival workers. Their smiles were too wide, their eyes too bright, as if they were hiding something behind their painted faces. "Doesn't something seem strange to you?" Lucy whispered, her voice barely audible above the din of the crowd. Tom nodded, his brow furrowed in concern. "There's something not right about this place. We should leave." But before they could make their escape, a booming voice echoed through the air, beckoning them to try their luck at the games and attractions that lay ahead. Against their better judgment, they found themselves drawn deeper into the carnival's twisted embrace. They tried their hand at the ring toss and the fortune teller's tent, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. And then, as they stumbled upon the Hall of Mirrors, they knew they had made a grave mistake. The mirrors twisted and warped their reflections, distorting their features into grotesque caricatures of themselves. But as they gazed into the mirrors, they saw something else, a glimpse of the true nature of the carnival and the darkness that lurked within. With a sense of mounting dread, they tried to flee the carnival, but it was too late. The carnival workers closed in around them, their smiles fading to reveal rows of razor-sharp teeth. In a desperate bid for survival, Tom, Lucy, Jake, and Rebecca fought back, but the carnival's grip on their souls was too strong. They were dragged into the darkness, their screams drowned out by the cacophony of the carnival's twisted laughter. And as the last echoes of their cries faded into the night, the carnival packed up its tents and moved on, leaving behind nothing but an empty field and a sense of lingering dread. For those who dared to venture into the Carnival of Souls, there was no escape from the darkness that awaited them within. The abandoned hospital loomed ominously against the moonlit sky, its crumbling facade a testament to the passage of time. For decades, it had stood empty, its halls echoing with the whispers of the past and the restless spirits of its former patients. Despite the warnings of locals, a group of urban explorers, Max, Lily, Ethan, and Ava, were determined to uncover the hospital's dark secrets. Armed with flashlights and cameras, they ventured into the decaying corridors, their footsteps echoing through the empty halls. As they navigated the labyrinthine maze of rooms and corridors, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Shadows danced along the walls, and strange noises echoed through the darkness, sending shivers down their spines. "Did you hear that?" Lily whispered, her voice trembling with fear. Max shook his head, his grip tightening on his camera. "It's probably just the wind. Let's keep moving." But as they delved deeper into the hospital's depths, they encountered something far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. Ghostly apparitions appeared before them, their hollow eyes filled with pain and anguish. Ava's blood ran cold as she stumbled upon the hospital's morgue, rows of empty gurneys lining the walls like silent sentinels. She could almost hear the whispers of the dead, their voices pleading for release from their eternal torment. As they explored further, they stumbled upon the hospital's abandoned psychiatric ward, its walls adorned with graffiti and symbols of madness. Ethan's heart raced as he caught sight of a figure lurking in the shadows, a specter of a patient driven to madness by the hospital's cruel experiments. With a sense of mounting dread, they pressed on, their only hope of escape fading with each passing moment. But the hospital had other plans for them, plans that would plunge them into a nightmare from which there would be no awakening. As they reached the hospital's basement, they found themselves face to face with the source of the hospital's dark power, a malevolent force that had been lurking in the shadows, waiting for unsuspecting souls to feed upon. In a desperate bid for survival, Max, Lily, Ethan, and Ava fought back against the darkness, their screams echoing through the empty halls. But the hospital's grip on their souls was too strong, and one by one, they were consumed by the darkness. And as the last echoes of their cries faded into the night, the abandoned hospital stood silent and still, its secrets buried beneath layers of dust and despair. And in the darkness, the spirits of the hospital's former patients continued to roam, their tortured souls trapped for all eternity in the halls of the haunted hospital. The attic was shrouded in darkness, illuminated only by the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the dusty windows. Clara, a struggling artist, sifted through the forgotten relics of her grandmother's attic, her fingers brushing against the cold porcelain faces of antique dolls. Amongst the cobwebs and forgotten treasures, Clara discovered a peculiar doll, its delicate features frozen in a haunting expression. Intrigued by its eerie beauty, she cradled the doll in her hands, feeling a strange connection to the object. As Clara began to work on her latest project, she found herself drawn to the doll, incorporating its likeness into her artwork. But as she delved deeper into the doll's history, she uncovered a dark secret that would change her life forever. According to her grandmother's journal, the doll was crafted by a reclusive dollmaker rumored to possess supernatural powers. Legend had it that anyone who crossed the dollmaker's path would be cursed to suffer a fate worse than death. Ignoring the warnings, Clara continued to work on her project, unaware of the malevolent force she had unleashed. As she sculpted the doll's likeness, she began to experience vivid nightmares and strange occurrences in her studio. Determined to uncover the truth behind the dollmaker's curse, Clara delved deeper into the mystery, her obsession consuming her every waking moment. But the closer she came to the truth, the more she realized that some secrets were better left buried. One fateful night, as Clara put the finishing touches on her latest masterpiece, she felt a strange presence in the room, the same presence she had felt since she first discovered the doll. With a sense of mounting dread, she turned to face the doll, only to find its eyes staring back at her with an otherworldly intensity. As Clara reached out to touch the doll, she felt a surge of power coursing through her veins, filling her with an insatiable hunger for revenge. With a sinister smile, she realized that she had become the dollmaker's puppet, doomed to carry out his bidding for all eternity. And as the first light of dawn broke through the darkness, Clara's studio lay empty and abandoned, its walls adorned with the twisted remains of her artwork. And in the darkness, the dollmaker's curse lived on, waiting for its next victim to fall prey to its malevolent power.